Hello guys, so this is the video of the trip, archaeology trip that we went. This video will assist you to do your assignment, so I'm posting it for you to get a chance to do your assignment. Please like the video, comment, share and subscribe, and I apologize for any inconveniences. Thank you so much.
You need to take down this assignment. You need to take down this assignment. In not more than 3 pages. If you write half a page, it's not be less than 3 pages. If you like 3 lines, it's less than 3 pages. I say in not more than 3 pages. The only crime is that it goes beyond 3 pages. Below 3 pages is fine. If it's 1 paragraph, if you are good at summary and you summarize what you are going to get in 3 paragraphs or in 3 lines, over to you, Jolati. Now, in not more than 3 pages, provide a comprehensive history of Akuse, Amedeka. In not more than 3 pages, provide a comprehensive history of Akuse, Amedeka, highlighting the potential archaeological / cultural heritage resources that could have been developed for purposes of tourism. In not more than 3 pages, provide a comprehensive history of Akuse, Amedeka, highlighting the potential archaeological and cultural heritage resources. Archaeological and cultural heritage resources that could have been developed for purposes of tourism. Are you with me? Everyone is fine. I'll go over that. And those of you at the back, if you are not here, don't come to my office after exams. So what we mean to say is this. I said that in not more than 3 pages, provide a comprehensive history of Akuse, Amedeka, highlighting the potential archaeological and cultural heritage resources that could have been developed for purposes of what? Tourism. Okay? So we are going to be aided with a narrative as to the history of Akuse, Amedeka. And then we will take a trek and look at some of the remnants of the historic information we are getting. And you will be the ones to make a judgment as to whether or not, as a country, Ghana, we've done good with our heritage, our history, and so on and so forth, or not, if we were interested in developing our tourism sector. And so with us to provide the history is Mr. Evans Do Nyamesapo. Call him. Are you one of us or you are one of the other groups? So why were you here? You'll be here for more than 10 minutes. Anyways, so to help us with the history is Mr. Evans Do Nyamesapo. He retired from the University of Ghana. He used to work within the Academic Affairs Directorate of the University of Ghana. And he's retired and he's enjoying his retirement in his holy city, Amedeka. The son is a product of the university who also did archaeology and currently pursuing his graduate studies outside. And so you meet him, he would help us with the history. The young man here is Bright. His name is Bright. He also comes from within this community. Bright is a product of our department as well. And he's currently doing his national service. He's currently doing his national service with the department. He's working with the department, and he operates from the Leventis Digital Resources Center. So we have a Leventis Digital Resources Center where we produce documentary videos, and we do voiceover, we do photo shoots. If you want to do your birthday photo shoot, you can come. There's a photocopier session as well, and many other things. We can scan and print things for you. High resolution. We have drones you can contract for videography, and we have high resolution cameras, very expensive ones, of course, for many things. If you see Bright, he will be of assistance. Bright also comes from this community. And so he knows the history, he knows the facilities that are around here, bordering on the history of the community, and you can rely on him for support. Many of the other TAs that have come with us, they were here as students to go through what you are going to go through, and they know the narratives. So you can rely on any of them to assist you. Any of them that you admire and you want to get to know some more, you let me know, I will tell them they are my sons. So take notes. So we are going to get Mr. Evans to lead us with the narrative. But what will happen is that you may not hear him clearly. I will amplify everything he says so that you can take notes. All right, so Mr. Evans, over to you, Jolat. Last batch for this week. Next week we'll bring another group.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are very much welcome to say
Please stay. I will repeat what he says so that you can all hear. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are most welcome to Akuse Amedeka. Akuse is spelled A-K-U-S-E, and Amedeka A-M-E-D-E-K-A. Amedeka.
Akuse and Amedeka are like twin communities.
So, Akuse and Amedeka have become twin communities.
Located,
Just like you have a secondary Takrade. They become twin cities, so Akuse Amedeka.
located in the Lower Manya Krobo municipality in the eastern region of Ghana.
It's located in Lower Manya Krobo municipality in the eastern region of Ghana.
Presently, we are
We are in Amedeka, Lower Manya Krobo municipality in the eastern region. Many of you will go and write voter region because you hear Amedeka. Or, in fact, Greater Accra, we've had several of you say it in writing your reports. So if you are here and you are not concentrating, over to you. When your report comes, we would see whether or not you were indeed here. All right.
way back in the colonial era. We had what Amedeka and Akuse were operating as the one and only inner port in the whole of the Gold Coast.
So Akuse Amedeka was one of the only inland ports in the colonial era.
Now, I'll take you back to the coast again. Along the coastline of the entire Ghana, the Gold Coast, we used to, from Pita in the southeast to the westernmost part of Ghana, Azim, you see forts and whatever castles dotted around the coast.
So from the eastern corner, we are talking about Keta all the way to Axim. It's noting that along the coast of Ghana, you find dotted forts and castles purposely for trading purposes.
By various European merchants.
Built by varying European merchants or nationals.
So all our attention were focused on the coast as where European merchants were trading.
So all attention was on the coast, particularly with focus on the forts and castles where trading activities took place.
But all of a sudden, there was an emergence of European merchants operating here in Akuse.
So over time, something would happen for Akuse and Amedeka to become important trading centers. as some of the European merchants operated from here.
Now, on the coast over there, merchants were operating over there. But at the point in time, some merchant ships also identified the estuary of Adam, of the river water at Adam, and felt they could sail through the route into the hinterland of the Gold Coast.
Now the reason is this, that as merchant ships sailed along the coast of Ghana, there were some of them who had interest in exploring the hinterland. They identified the estuary at Adan as a potential alternative route through which they could sail along the Volta and access the hinterland of the Gold Coast. And that was the reason why Akuse and Amedeka will become important. So in other words, what happened was this. Trade concentrated along the sea coast of Ghana, where the forts and castles were. Some of the merchants, of course, they were engaged in even conflicts with people who wanted to serve as middlemen between them and then the hinterland societies. Some of them identified alternative routes with which they could exploit the hinterland. And the major one is the estuary at Adanfo. That is where Castro got vanished. We are not sure he's dead. He just disappeared. Where Castro disappeared. So from there they would sail along the Volta with the hope that they could explore the hinterland rather than be at the coast. And the competition, of course, was high at the coast.
And indeed, they sailed, and they came as far as to Amedeka, only to be hindered by the cataracts and the rapids over here. They couldn't go further upstream. So they became the last landing stage.
Merchant ships indeed came on the Volta up to Amedeka, where we find ourselves today. Unfortunately, they were hindered by the cataracts and rapids on the Volta Lake or the Volta River upstream. So they couldn't go beyond this point. Ships could not go beyond this point, and that is the reason for which this place became an automatic landing place.
So they decided to use Amedeka as the one and only inland port, and they have been using it all along. The multinationals were using this place as their inland port. Some are into export and import businesses, and companies operating over here where
We'll come to that. So just a quick one. So what he's saying is that simply because they couldn't go beyond this point due to the cataracts and the rapids, those of you who do geography should know this. If I think level 200 Egyptian civilization, we mentioned cataracts. These are sharp falls within the flow of water bodies that will not permit a ship to climb up. It's like climbing a hill. In the case of the sea or the rivers, if you have that kind, the ship cannot go up and then find level ground to continue. So they were hindered by that. And so this place became an automatic area of landing. And because the ships would dock here and offload their cargo, multinational companies came to set up here to engage with trading activities with the Europeans who would come with their ships to this place.
So those multinational corporate organizations operating here were the UAC.
So the multinational corporations or organizations that worked here, traders, they were basically into import and export businesses. Included UAC, United African Company. When you go and find them in multiple choice questions, you should take notes. Last year, there was a multiple choice question about this. And aside A, B, C, D, which were companies operating around here at the time, we put Odike Ventures and Pami the Spide Company Limited and all that. And people were choosing those other companies rather than the ones that we are talking about. So take note. So we have UAC, United African Company, Sevelia, which was a French company. That French company was into the business of bringing car parts or kits for assembling vehicles. So you can imagine that.
They have the CTL, Commonwealth Trust Limited.
We had Commonwealth Trust Limited.
And let's not forget to also the Basel missionaries were here. And they came along with their merchants. And the merchants were operating under the company name of Union Trading Company. And the others, Swiss Trading Company.
So aside UAC, which is United African Company, Chevalier, and then GB Olivan, we also, and then of course the Commonwealth Trust Company, saying that there were Basel missionaries who also came. And the missionaries came along with merchants. And the merchants, they came from Switzerland. The merchants operated under two company names. The Swiss Trading Company or Swiss African Company Limited. And then they also had Union Trading Company, UTC. So those of you who are familiar with Accra Central, when you go to the area where you have Kwame Nkrumah, Jerry Rollins Park, Rollins Park, not Circle. Rollins Circle is in Utah. Rollins Park at the heart of Accra, Makola neighborhoods. You will still see the UTC building there. UTC is still sitting there, close to Katamatu, where you go and do Aniba Glamour. You know Aniba Glamour? Glamour was a shop that sold fabrics, like a boutique. Glamour was a boutique. Aniba is ground. So when we say Aniba Glamour, it means a force. Second hand. Go and bend down and pick. Bend down boutique. All right. So within that neighborhood is where UTC was core in Accra. But they also had their warehouses here in Akuse and in Amedeka. They had their retail shops.
And they have their own big yard over here at Akuse.
So they had a big yard where they will pick the goods from the port to the yard, to the warehouse, and then they will bring the goods to the retail shops here in Amedeka.
The UAC and the UTC were operating as export and import business. They will send what they call it, cocoa to Europe, and cocoa and palm oil for soap making. You know, Switzerland, you get the best chocolates over there.
So these trading companies we're talking about, except for the Chevalier, which was a French company that brought in car parts for assembling vehicles, the rest were into import and export business. From Ghana, they took away cocoa beans and palm oil for the purposes of producing soap and chocolates. And you know that Switzerland produces one of the best chocolates, though they don't have cocoa. So that was the kind of business that they did. And they also brought us a whole lot of household goods, including, you can name them, including tobacco and smoking pipes, including the Bible, including the whiskeys and the beers and the schnapps and what have you, and the mirrors, which some of us exchange our brothers and sisters for, because you could see your face in the mirror. You know, so they brought a whole lot of household goods, including textiles. Today, you still have Holland in this market. The women know. And they believe that it is better than ATL and the rest. And they are just, ATL will produce the thing here and ship it there. They will put a label on it and bring it back. And then we. Samson Jama went to buy Holland from Lebanon. And when he came and they opened the thing, ATL was also inside. ATL label was also inside. So take note. So these were the kind of businesses that were happening around here.
So I think, are you all right?
I hope it's very clear. So
now, let me remind you again. When merchants are operating within a certain environment, what normally happens is that we put certain structures in place. Like I told you already, you have the police, you have the court system, you have the prison, and hospital. So all these things are still, those infrastructures are still in Akuse. I told you already, the oldest officers seem to be like.
What he's saying is this. Yeah. Okay. What he's saying is that in areas where you have these booming trading activities, certain structures are also put in place to ensure that everything works according to plan. And so, because the multinationals were establishing here, they put a police station in place, they put a court system in place, they put a prison in place, and they built a hospital. So that if you were not well, you go to the hospital. If you committed, the police will pick you, take you to the court will process you and pass you to the prison. So those infrastructure are still available here in Akuse.
And this would be made term as something like heritage resources because of Akuse.
So these are potential heritage resources that have been bequeathed to Akuse. The hospital was built in 1911, older than Kolebu. Kolebu was built in 1928 by Gorgisberg. Before then, there was already a busy trading activity happening here with a hospital built in 1911. So those structures are still there as heritage resources bequeathed to Akuse and Amedeka.
Now, when Kwame Nkrumah was about to obtain independence, there were agitations, there were looting, and a whole lot of disturbances in the group. That's why the multinationals decided that in an environment of that nature, they could not operate again after independence.
So what happened was that around 1948, when Nkrumah was agitating for independence now, there were a lot of riots and disturbances, looting of the warehouses of these European merchants. And then soon after independence, many of them no longer felt safe operating in an environment of chaos, an environment where looting and rioting was happening on a regular basis, and then they folded up. So basically, and then also, what is left out is also that as a result of the operations of these multinational corporations or companies, different ethnic groups were attracted to come into the environment and to benefit from the trading activities as either laborers or other forms of workers within those companies. Similarly, there were people who came from other West African countries, Nigeria, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and all that, who operated from here. And it's quite common knowledge that when you migrate from a certain locality and you go and settle in another locality, you most likely will name your community after your place of origin. Is that correct? So that when you go to Kumasi, we have Angloga. Is that not the case? Yeah. When you go to Koforidua, you have Amedeka. Is that not the case? When you go to Yendi, you have Kambona, who means Asante King. So they have those kinds of locations also within Akuse, which are reflective of the presence of persons from other West African countries or West African nationalities who were operating from here. So when you go to Akuse and you ask for Lagos House, they will take you to Lagos House. When you ask for Liberia House, they will take you to Liberia House. When you ask for Salome, which is a representative of Sierra Leone, you will find somebody take you to that area. Or that you are going to Freetown. In Akuse, they will take you to a certain location where Liberians, what's the name? Sierra Leoneans lived. So these are some of the legacies of that kind of interaction. Any questions? Yes, two more things. In terms of chieftaincy institutions, you will understand that the community or the communities are special in the sense that they were created by settlers. They are settler communities. So there's no indigenous person, so to speak. So they do not have a common chieftaincy institution. Each of the ethnic groups that was present and is still present here, they have their heads, their headmen, who all pay allegiance to the Lower Manya Krobo Traditional Authority or the Paramountcy. Similarly, they do not have a common festival. You noted in class that we said festivals were one of the potential areas where tourism could be tapped. They do not have a common festival because of the same social orientation that they came from different locations to constitute themselves into this community. So if you were Ewe or Anglo from Angloga and they are doing Ogbachocho, you will go and take part in. If you were Ga and they are doing Homowo, you will go and take part in. But as a community, they do not have a common festival because they are of different ethnic backgrounds. They have different cultural backgrounds, and yet they pay allegiance to their respective places of origin in terms of festivals, in terms of chieftaincy institutions. Any questions, please? Yes, any questions? Those of you behind, are you with us? Yes. So can anybody tell me what you have heard so far? Which of you will tell me what you have heard so far? I'm not saying when listen to the recording you are making. All right. Okay, the meaning of Akuse. Akuse is an Adan expression, which means the back of Aku. Aku is a water body. So there is a water body that is, there's a creek between here and Akuse. And if you were going to go to the back of the creek, you say you are going to Akuse. The back of Aku is a water body. So the back of it, Akuse. That is what it means. That's the origin. And then Amedeka. Amedeka was established by an individual, a hunter and a fisherman from Agave in Volta region. Agave, A-G-A-V-E. It's beyond Sogakope. That is where the man came from to come and settle here. And he was into the business of hunting and fishing because the Volta is here. And as people were coming to him, they would say they are going to one man village. Amedeka means a single person or one person in Ewe. So that is an Ewe expression that means one man or one person. So it was established by a hunter, just a single person, and then his kinsmen came and settled with him over time, and the community became important when ships from Europe would dock here and conduct business. I hope we are clear. So basically that is the narrative as regards the community's history. Are there any more questions, please? Everything okay? All right, so if we are okay, what we'll do is that we would take a quick walk to some of the facilities around. There is evidence that the ships that tried to go beyond this point try and climb the cataracts. Some of them were wrecked, and so there are evidence, small pieces of evidence of shipwrecks, which we will see when we get to where the port was. There are other facilities we will look at, and then we will come back and proceed. The question is whether or not there was a point when Akuse and Amedeka people had a fight. They've never had any conflict. The question is whether or not there was slave trade activities here.
Come and listen to this.
If you don't understand, ask. What is the process? Grading, you will grade, but before you grade, what else? Processes involved in assuming we've walked on the surface of the earth, we've selected this section as a place where we wanted to do it. So we've conducted our ground reconnaissance already. We've selected here purposively or judgmental sampling, as you were talking about. Purposively, we've selected this place to excavate because the reason for selecting is surface cut-off material, hence our choice of selecting it. We've selected this place that we want to do. So we want to excavate. What is the process involved in doing excavation? We will grade, we know. What else? We've selected the place we want to do it. We will grade. So what is the process involved? We will dig. But before you dig, what will you do? Exactly. So before you dig, what you establish your baseline. What is a baseline? Madam, the one wearing the white cap. Great Rico. What is baseline? You say? You are shy. What is a baseline? Yes. Anyone? Two things. Every day I say you more say you born come on. What is a baseline? What is it? North and south direction. So those using phone, use your phone. Straight on your compass, then you establish where our north is. So location, that's your compass. You will establish our north. That's what I meant. Who is doing it? Where is the north?
What is here?
This side?
Yeah.
This side. Okay, so this side is our north. Okay. So you've established our north. This is a sieve used to collect micro archaeological data. The things you are likely not to find past digging. The essence of it, we seek to find micro archaeological material. And you know what archaeological material are? Epiphat, artifact, features, biofat, then things. Then headpan, used in collecting the matrix on archaeological side. What is matrix? You. Okay. What is matrix? No idea. What is matrix? Yes, matrix. Who has idea about it? Hello. Matrix. They are all archaeological. So the matrix in our instance it will be the sun. When you are doing underwater archaeology, it could be the sun plus the water. That is the matrix. The matrix is what holds the archaeological record inside. And in our case it is the sun. So we use the headpan to collect our matrix, helping us to see. Then the red one is called ranging pool. It has several functions, using measurement and also helping us to establish our baseline. And I've explained what the baseline is. Then these two things. Please raise it for me. That two things. Yeah. No, put that one. Please. No, I'm just asking. The other one and the cutting. That's the cutting. On her left, what is the name of it? What is the name of it? What is the guy holding?
His
What is it?
This is Albert Labi. This is from City Campus. He was at City Campus some 4 or 5 years back. Had the first class. Proceeded to do MPhil. He has done his MPhil. Now he's doing PhD. 3rd year PhD. Next year he will be completed. And when you see him, you call him doctor. So when you see him smiling like this, he is representing me. Whatever we pass on onto him, he is also transferring onto you. So please, he is representing me here, and he is more than able to transfer everything onto you. Give him the maximum respect and humble yourself to learn from him. Young man, so I present to you Albert. Albert Labi, Charlie, carry on tonight, can continue. What was she trying to draw?
I was not doing anything.
But you were using the cutlass on the floor.
Not me.
Not me. Please take over.
I don't like that.
So,
This is Erica. What is Archaeology GP?
GPA booster.
so let's
The boy
continue.
has left his
The name of this.
I don't want the boat to stand at the back.
But he has
Stand in
put
front.
his phone down.
This boat should stand in front.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then go and pick this one.
Yes, go and pick. Go and pick.
No.
No. This one.
Plus the other one. So put your phone in. Oh, you are recording. The other one.
Tell him my windshield paper back up. Whoa! Hey, oh, you're strong. Bim, come and stand here.
So
Yeah, true. Or something to train him. Hey, I want cancer. What's the name? What did you okay?
the function of it. No, you. I know you. If I explain it.
Yeah, Chicha do so.
Okay, problem man for one. So what is she holding? No.
It's a spade.
What is she holding?
Shovel. A spade.
That one is shovel.
Spade.
You just go and stand by her and so they will see the difference. Oh, yes, stand by her and then it's good. What's the difference? Are they the same? So why do you say spade here and not spade here?
Okay, explain it. She's saying something.
Sorry, man.
No, explain what you were saying. Why a spade and why a shovel? So explain it. You said load it. Continue.
They use this one like maybe when you're facing a sun or something. Yeah, because
It's hard to like a catchy.
and this one is very flat.
So that is it. It has hollow space and also used for loading as you want it to be. And this is very flat and also used to face the walls of the excavator to create the This one. So used for excavating. Hand pick. Also used for excavating. Hand pick. So this is it. That's and this is called food record sheet. So in your class, what is the essence of it? You can pass it on. Food record sheet.
Check the information of the excavated artifact.
Then this is called label tag.
Yeah, the better idea.
Label tag. Please do you understand?
Yes. No. I'll translate.
When you speak English,
You.
Just to record your provenience, that's what and provenience, what is provenience? The one where it's a wine, it's a red. What is provenience? What is the uses of this tag? That's what I'm asking. What is provenience?
Like the things that you took here.
This it's a question over. If you know, just say
So that we move on.
provenience information.
The information about the things in the bag.
Okay, so bag in a few, but provenience is the information you put it on it. So the name of the site, the depth at which the material was recovered, the location of the place, the information. So this and the food record sheet. The bigger one. Hello. Pass it on so they also see it. This is the food record sheet. They are all used in recording the provenience of the material. With the help of the compass, ranging pole, we are coming to establish our baseline. I had a yes and no and see what the basic baby are taking. Then you string it. What the homatic? Okay. So take one of the poles.
This one. Bring it here small.
So this is called twine or rope.
It has to be in line, no?
To use and string it.
Bring it here. Yes, small.
We are moving for consult the same thing. Ideally, we should have used prismatic compass to establish, but since we are in the modern era, the phone helps us to establish our north. So this is our baseline. Right. What is a grade? Someone said before you start establishing. By equal size. Okay, you said what is a trench, what is a unit, what is a grade?
Trench is the depth.
What is a trench? What is a trench? What done one? No. Yes. Unit. Okay. Where you any? When I was so hello. Export. Madam. I'm talking to you. What is a unit, a grade, or a trench? Who knows it? Explain it, then we go.
A unit is a single box. A grade is multiple ones in boxes.
They said they can't hear you, so say it.
I'm the videographer, not.
A unit
Okay,
is
I
a
said.
single
Oh,
box.
yeah.
That's a
Please say what you
I
want.
said a unit is a single box. The box, yeah, and then the grade is the multiple ones. Yeah, like this.
Okay, throw it.
So this one can be called a unit. So the whole of this one is a grade system, but not drawn to scale.
Okay, yes. So as he said, that's it. A series of intersection lines that forms a grid. Then a unit, a perfect square, and a trench is an enlarged unit, mostly rectangular in nature. So 1 by 1 is a unit, 2 by 2 is a unit, by 2 by 3 becomes a trench because it's a rectangle. Clear? Okay. So we are coming to grade our sites. For me, on my site, you give 20 centimeters interval from the base. So we are coming to grade using 2 meters by 2 meters, 200 centimeters by 200 centimeters.
Thank you.
Then afterwards we select one and we excavate. The opposite can be fab, the natural, then you find your one. Good taste, you can use theodolite. It will help you in establishing it. Or the manual way, 2 by 2. So we will just string our measuring tape. What I meant is manually, ubejina ha na yesu 200. Obviously the net ubejina ha. And again you use a hypotenuse, that Pythagoras theorem formula. Or we use the Pythagoras theorem formula. So we get the hypotenuse, then we string it. Which one do you like? Okay, so let's do the hypotenuse first. What is the formula? Hello, we are all discussing what's the formula. You understand?
I know, man.
Do you understand what we are doing? So let's use the Pythagoras theorem formula to establish our unit. Please, someone should just write it, then we do it.
Hey, who are part of that?
Really? Oh.
I can't find my pen.
This one is
But they are in lines. Some more lines. More lines. But two now, come on, I will top. Two now, I will top.
Is it correct or is it not correct? Says who?
if I don't
It's 200 you wait.
what's the 200 for? Adjacent.
For this opposite is 200. Fashion lines. 200. Hey. Hey. It's 100.
Hey,
200 square is not 4,000. Madam, stop. 200 square is not 400. Use your phone. Before you do it, 20 will happen. Just 20 cents. Wait. So this is how where yours is. So make sure.
Can you see?
No, make sure the 200 meets the hypotenuse. That will help you get a perfect square. So you the with the manage one on home. They should try joining. Just lock it.
No, I think put yours on the floor. They should put hers on yours. Sawa?
So from here you got it one.
Yeah.
Just give him a peg, then place it there.
Where the line is?
Where this one?
This one is 20.
So it's not 200. So yeah, nothing here.
Hey!
Establish that from here to
All right. Please hurry up. Behind me. See the open space behind me? That open space is the place where the first settler in this community had his home. So the hunter from Agave, who settled here, and his kinsmen came to join him to create this community, which became important as a trading center. He lived here. His name is Fofo. Fofo is the name. F spelled as F-O-R.
F-O-E-H.
F-O-E-H. Fofo was his name. From Agave, he lived here. So Fofo lived here. And his compound is large. Descendants are trying to bring it back to life. Now, aside that, this place being an important archaeological site, note must be taken that excavations or archaeological research has been conducted in this neighborhood. One, Dr. Delakuma did her excavations here, product of our department. She did a PhD in Portugal, in Switzerland, in other places. She did a PhD roaming around 3 different. Last year, she did an exhibition of her archaeological works within this community, just to educate the community on the relevance of their heritage. Aside that, previous year groups, somebody also developed interest in the community and came to do a long essay here. Long essays is available as a reference material for anyone who is interested in doing some more work around it. So this is Structure was the sales outlet or the retail shop for UAC, right? UTC, Union Trading Company, one of the Swiss companies that operated here. This was where they had their retail shop. So what will happen is that the port is down this way, the river is down this way, we'll be going there shortly. And then there was a rail line. 4 years ago when we came, the structures were still available. You could see some of the metals. Unfortunately, the hunters have carried everything away. Those who hunt for scrap, they've carried everything away. But there used to be a rail line that passed here and would carry the goods to the main warehouse in Akuse. They'll bring some of them to the retail shop, and then they will come and also sell to people who are living within the communities. So this is a UTC. Okay. Guys, there are too many of you who are slow at the back there. Please, we need to be fast. Time is not on our side. The sun is still on. And I don't want anybody to come to my office because your results wasn't good. After the results are released, don't come to my office. All right, so behind me was another retail shop. This retail shop was owned by GB Olivan. That was a British company that operated within here. GB Olivan, this was their retail shop. They all had their main warehouses in Akuse. They'll carry the goods there, but they'll certainly bring some because trading activities were here to redistribute. So this was for GB Olivan. Now we will come back to look at where I'm pointing to my left, where the electric pole is, where the small neem tree is growing. You will see a floor. The floor, the foundation of the retail shop for UAC, United African Company. UAC, that was where they operated. And note, one of the things we didn't say to you is to note that before this time we are talking about, the only way to get out of Ghana was through here. So the only road that existed was Accra, Medina, Dodowa, Somanya, Bong, and then you will come here and cross the water to go to Togo and beyond. So it was one of the reasons why this place was so important. So UAC operated a water transport system from here. So there was no motorway, there was no tema, there was no harbor. You understand? So there were the forts and castles where people would go and trade. And then there's an inland port here where people will come and trade. But to go out of Ghana, you needed to pass through here. So that certainly will make the place an important location. And we'll see some of the remnants of such structures. That was one of the reasons why this place was so important. So UAC, they had their retail shop right across here. the entrance to the yard was here, and then you go in there, water travel. So what happened, we are still in the UAC yard. Now, like I said, the two structures were built by Ghana Highway Authority to try to maintain the water transport system. Unfortunately, they failed and they collapsed. But where I showed you that the foundations exist of the UAC yard, the how do you call it, the retail shop, there you will enter through the gate. If you wanted to buy yourself some apateshi from the retail shop, you would come in here and buy your tickets. This was the ticketing office. So you buy the ticket here, and then you will head to the lake and go and board your ferry or boats to Ada and beyond. That was the only way to get out of Ghana in that direction. You didn't have a choice. Until after independence, when the country opened up and motorway was created, Tema Harbor was created, and the Tema settlement built, and then you now have a road that leads you across into Togo. You had to come through here and buy a ticket from this point. So this is the ticketing office. And then you go and board your ship or ferry or boat, and then you go across. Is that understood?
Yes.
Now note that the UAC, they also had cocoa sheds, 4 of them, located at the back there, but because of the vegetation, we won't see the foundations. The foundations of 4 cocoa sheds owned by UAC were located in this enclave, and thank you. They would load cocoa beans from there onto boats or ships to other locations where they will be shipped across. And we are going to go and see a bigger cocoa shed that they had at the port itself, where they simply move things onto the ships and then they would head out. So this is very important, and this is what is left of the ticketing office. So Ghana, that's how serious we are with our heritage.
I want to have a video.
Yeah, the bar for video. Like me, have.
It's I hope I saw Shabbat to my wife.
My own selling.
My mom didn't know.
I see a YouTuber.
Yeah.
So this is the UAC retail shop. Those who are coming from behind.
Oh, so this is it.
The foundations of the UAC retail shop that I mentioned earlier. All right. So the UAC retail shop was in this entry. There you can buy your apateshi, and then you go and board your ferry and go. Is that okay? All right. Silence, please. Those at the back. I want to see your faces on my face. Like that. Don't look at the water, look at me. Now, where I stand, behind me is the Pentecost Church. And the Pentecost Church is sitting on the old structure of the UAC cocoa shed. This is where the port was. This is where the ships would anchor, all right, down the water body. That is where the ships would anchor, and then they will move the goods into the warehouses. There's a rail, we mentioned there was a rail line that will carry the goods across from the port here down to Akuse into warehouses for redistribution. Now, if you were to look at, some of you are standing on the ramps of the old structure that will lead into the warehouse. There's another ramp behind there. You see the ramp? These are the old structures which will lead into the warehouse. So the whole of that is a structure that was a warehouse for UAC. Now what we will do is that we will go down the river. We will show you 2 pieces of things that are evidence of shipwrecks. And as you go down, you should also observe the landscape in terms of the impact of the erosion that occurred last year on land. and archaeological sites. Those of you who are doing environmental archaeology particularly. Aside that, we are asking in the case of tourism that you are able to tell us some of the archaeological resources. As you go down, you will see broken bottles, ceramics, and other imports that were brought on the surface. Also, as you go down, if you were to look to your left, you would see the collapsed structures of the port when the flooding happened last year. 2 years ago when we came, the walls were standing, but today they are collapsed. But you will still see the fragments of those walls. So from here all the way down, the ship would anchor here. Behind here we had a whole lot of anchor pillars. Unfortunately, they are all washed away. You will still see a couple of them though. So we will descend slowly into the water. Nobody is going into the water, please. We don't have insurance for you to go into the water to do anything.
You don't go into the water.
Go and give you a wash. Give you a bath.
But wait, it's like you want
Videographer.
Pumping. You can see there, it means that it's opened one of the valves for water to escape from the pond. So if the pond gets full to a certain extent, they have to open these valves for the water to flow out. And as they open them for the water to flow out, the volume of water here will increase. And that is what affected this landscape. Behind us is the collapsed walls of the port, parts of the port. All right, so this is one of the shipwrecks, evidence of the shipwrecks. The second one is the one that you see at the far end, beyond where the canoes are. That which is sticking out like a triangle. It's more like a propeller of a ship. And that is one of the other examples. So instead of at a downfall, that was where Castle was. And that is because the ships were sailing along the sea, they saw this as a potential route to explore the hinterland, and then they came this way. So when you go beyond this, you are going to Atimpoku, where you have the Adomi Bridge, and then to Akuse on the other side. And this one is Volta region. When you cross to this village, you are in Volta region. Uncle what?
Bella. Where? Lydia.
Yes.
Lydia.